Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Outside the Ropes. I'm your host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew Moore. Welcome back to the programme after our weekly break for the Christmas holidays. We hope that everybody out there had a fantastic Christmas last week. I had a fantastic Christmas as well. But most importantly, we do wish that you all had a great Christmas. And today, as this show is recorded, is New Year's Eve. So a big happy New Year to everybody who listens to Outside the Ropes. We've got some subject to talk about on tonight's show, which is quite interesting. Some news has broke over the last few days. We're going to talk about Monday night, a very interesting episode of Monday Night Raw. Sorry, I couldn't speak there. But I've got some more late breaking news as well in the world of professional wrestling. So thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this week's edition of Outside the Ropes as always. Now, before we go any further into tonight's show, I just want to give a shout to our friends and partners of this program who help keep this show going. Our good friends at Wrestling's Past. If you're a historian of professional wrestling like myself, and most people who do listen to this show, Wrestling's Past is the location. Go to their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter for their daily, on this day, history of wrestling tweets, at Wrestling's Past on Twitter. So don't forget to check out our good friends at Wrestling's Past. Don't forget to check out their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and a big happy Christmas from last week, and a great happy New Year to all our friends at Wrestling's Past. Guys, what a week of professional wrestling since we were last on the air. Interesting episode coming out of last week's Monday Night Raw. We also had tribute to the troops last week. We had a lot of mixed sort of response to tribute to the troops show, saying it was a average show. It could have been better, which I kind of agree with, to be honest with you. It wasn't a real overly great show, to be honest with you. But Tribute to the Troops actually wasn't a bad episode, but it was a bit average. So I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5, maybe a 3. So there you are. But we had Tribute to the Troops. We've also had an interesting episode from last Monday night on Raw, which saw the Boss return back to television once again. After getting his lights knocked out a few weeks ago by Roman Reigns. Still no Triple H on TV. But the storyline's building up for a feud between him and Roman Reigns. Maybe for the WWE title, never know. But Vince McMahon kicked off Raw, bringing out Roman Reigns this past Monday night. Got into the Roman Reigns' face. Roman Reigns then stood and took a lot of abuse, a lot of personal abuse actually. A lot of people were saying on Twitter, was it racist abuse by Vince McMahon, having a real good pop at the Samoan heritage and obviously the relations of Roman Reigns, whereas Roman Reigns then pushed down Vince McMahon, and McMahon was claiming that he hurt his neck. Out comes Stephanie with the security, which then involved a bit of an incident where Stephanie got involved with the security team, where they basically were telling her to back off or they were going to arrest her. Vince got involved himself as well, and Vince McMahon ended up getting arrested. A little scene back from 1998, remember those guys, where McMahon was arrested by Stone Cold all along with his stooges, Patterson and Briscoe. We did tweet out that picture as well during live on Raw Monday night. But a bit of a flashback, Mr. McMahon had the cuffs on him and he was taken away to a local police station in Brooklyn, New York. Forgot to say, actually, the show was in Brooklyn. Once again, and Brooklyn's a great crowd as always. But Vince McMahon was taken away and arrested. Roman Reigns was laughing. We then later on had little reports coming out of the police station where we had Renee Young, who actually looked like a burglar standing outside. But reports from there. Then Vince was finally released from the jail by his lawyer, good old Jerry McDevitt. Interesting. Good old Jerry. Can't go wrong with him, I tell you. He gets McMahon out of some holes, I tell you. No comment. Anyway, we had McMahon coming back to the arena, getting in Roman Reigns' face again, and then stating to Roman Reigns that next week on the first Raw of 2016, Roman Reigns will be defending the WWE World Heavyweight title against Sheamus, and there will be a special guest referee being Vince McMahon himself. Interesting. It's going to be an interesting match next week. Will we crown a new world champion? I don't think so. But don't get me wrong, Sheamus would be a good champion. He is a good performer, but I think they're going to build it up for Roman Reigns, possibly to defend the title against Triple H, because we hear that Triple H is to come back and face Roman Reigns. More on Triple H later on, because we've got some interesting stories come out regarding Triple H and the Royal Rumble. But overall, Monday Night Raw was a pretty average, good show again. You know, it delivered again with the whole McMahon Reigns storyline. But again, the ratings had dropped once again this week, which is disappointing. But, you know, WWE, it's Royal Rumble season. WWE have to up their game now. We've got the return of Brock Lesnar coming on the television very, very soon as well. Brock Lesnar did appear at a live event. We did share the footage of some fan recording in Florida just before Christmas. We hear that he is due to face Sheamus on the 8th of January at a live event as well in Texas. So Brock Lesnar is getting himself back into the ring shape to appear back onto WWE television very, very soon as well. But moving away from Raw this week, some other news has come out this week with big stories come out regarding The Rock. Now, I'm sure you all probably saw him Monday Night Raw, or you probably follow him on Twitter or follow him on Facebook or whatever. The Rock has announced that he will be at next year's WrestleMania in Texas. Now, everybody knows that next year this could possibly be the WrestleMania that breaks the all-time attendance record set by WrestleMania 3 of over 93,000. They're talking that next year there could be possibly over 105,000 people in the stadium next year in Texas. But The Rock has stated he is going to be there next year, or it's not even that far away now. You're talking, 3-4 months away now from WrestleMania? And The Rock will be there, and he'll be doing something big. Now, everybody hears all these rumors apparently that he will be fighting Triple H next year. Maybe not. We don't know. But The Rock has said on Instagram and Twitter and wherever else, it's been announced all around the world, even on TMZ, that The Rock will be back for WrestleMania next year. Now, staying on the subject of The Rock, and let's bring Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan, of all people, into the conversation. It's broken the last few days that apparently, now whether this is 100% true or not, we don't know. If you're a big Expendables fan of the movies Expendables, which I am, I've seen all three, I think they're great movies, that apparently Hulk Hogan, Austin, and The Rock have all landed roles in the Expendables 4. Now, I've been doing a bit more fishing around for this over the last 24 hours. And for what I've found out, guys, as well for you, is that apparently Hulk Hogan will be the lead main villain in this movie, which would be quite interesting to see Hulk Hogan as a villain again. But yeah, apparently Hogan's going to be the main villain in Expendables 4. We also hear that there's going to be Pierce Brosnan in this movie, the usual ones, Jason Statham, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and probably many more. But it's a big role, that's a big news coming out, especially for Hulk Hogan and all the grief that he's been getting at the minute from fans regarding this racist claim recently. But that's a big news for Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin as well. Once again, to be in the Expendables. But yeah, it's going to be a great movie coming out in maybe it's like early 2017, they're saying. But we'll keep an eye on that for you, and any more news developing on that story, we'll get it to you here on Outside the Ropes. Now, I know we haven't shared this for a while. I had to bring this up on the podcast this week. Did you or did you not see the video that we shared on Facebook and Twitter, I think it was yesterday, of Randy Orton's latest RKO out of nowhere on Mike Tyson? Did you see it? I thought it was great. It's where Mike Tyson, he's probably all saw it on social media, on them wee hoverboard things at his home, and he falls backwards on his ass. Well, whoever created these Randy Orton's RKO out of nowhere has now created one where he actually RKO'd Mike Tyson. So you got to check it out, guys. Seriously, it's going to be really, really funny. Interesting news come out regarding Vince Russo. Vince Russo's made some recent comments regarding the recent storylines in WWE, especially aiming things at the Authority stable, saying that apparently it's very stale and that the Authority storylines aren't that good, not that interesting. Would you agree with Vince Russo? I would, for what he's been saying and for what I was reading myself. I was forwarded an email from one of the guys here at the show to read. Yes, I would agree with him. He also makes some interesting comments about Kevin Owens as well, saying that, back in his day, Kevin Owens would be considered even just something like a jobber because of the way he is now. But he makes some comments regarding the WWE product as of late, and he says it is quite stale, and they need to make big changes, especially if the USA Network are not very happy. What he has been saying, the video is on our Facebook. We shared it. If you want to go ahead and check that out. He does say some interesting comments regarding the Authority as well, which is kind of interesting as well. Some Chris Jericho news as well. Chris Jericho has announced that he is not planning on getting back into the ring as of in the near future. There's a lot of talk of him possibly appearing at WrestleMania 32 next year, but he is not to appear. Jericho has mindset on other projects at the moment, and Chris Jericho will not be appearing at WrestleMania or any other shows coming up very, very soon. Alberto Del Rio news as well. Alberto Del Rio is apparently, for what we've been reading today, is not very happy with behind the scenes in WWE at the moment. Apparently some storylines that he was supposed to be involved in has been changed. He has reportedly stated in a recent interview that he isn't very happy, but he has been assured that things will change in the near future. On a sad note, guys, I want to bring this up on the podcast as well. Now, I know it's obviously to do with music, but WWE were involved in this, and I would like to bring this up as well. They did mention this thing that happened the other day on Raw as well. I wanted to bring this up sort of midway through the show. A lot of you guys out there know, or probably heard of now. If you haven't heard in the last few days in the news, then you must be living under a rock. The head singer of Motorhead, Lemmy, has passed away at the age of 70. Now, you all remember Lemmy playing in Motorhead at WWE events back in the day. I've saw Lemmy perform many a time, be at WrestleMania and also in live concert as well. Motorhead, how could you speak about Motorhead and how big they were? I mean, they were a massive, massive, massive rock band. Everybody across the world's heard of Motorhead. But unfortunately, Lemmy, the head singer, who was diagnosed apparently on Boxing Day, which was the day after Christmas, for all you ones who don't celebrate Boxing Day, with cancer, and he died on Monday. Lemmy, as you'll remember, performed at WrestleMania 17 in the Houston Astrodome for Triple H's Entrance Theme, Time to Play the Game. Also, again, at WrestleMania 21, he also was Motorhead was the singers of the song Evolution, and the King of Kings as well for Triple H. Lemmy, a very good friend of Triple H as well. Reports say that Triple H was very shocked and still upset about Lemmy passing, of course. But it's such sad news to hear such a great icon of music. And obviously he was a big part of the WWE family as well, because obviously the performances that he put in, and obviously the stuff that he done for WWE behind the scenes as well. So it's hard to believe that Lemmy's now gone, but I didn't even realise he was actually 70 years of age. I didn't realise he was that old. But yeah, Lemmy, the head singer of Motorhead, passed away last Monday, and we obviously send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Lemmy. But interesting tweets coming out of, we shared a couple of them for you guys, especially the one from Bubba Ray Dudley. If you haven't saw the tweet that Bubba Ray Dudley sent out regarding the passing of Lemmy this past week, please check it out, guys, on our Twitter and also on our Facebook. Interesting. I don't even want to read it out for you. I don't want to spoil it for you, but you gotta take a look at it because it is an interesting tweet. But yeah, again, guys, we do send our thoughts and prayers out to the family of Lemmy, who passed away this past week. The lead singer of Motorhead. Some injury updates as well this week. They reported a few weeks ago that Stardust was apparently injured, but Stardust returned to action this past weekend at a live event. So it's great to see Stardust back in the action as well. Kurt Angle news as well, but didn't mention this. We've been talking about Kurt Angle for the last few weeks on this podcast. Kurt Angle has openly stated this past few days, just after the Christmas period there, or the Christmas week, that he is still open to a WWE return. Now, you all know he has announced that it's his final tour with TNA this coming January. Said it's his last hurrah with TNA. But you all know WrestleMania is in April time, so Kurt Angle could be maybe on his way to WWE to compete at WrestleMania next year. Is it going to happen? I would love to see it happen. I really want to see it happen. A lot of Kurt Angle fans want to see it happen. But the thing is, who would he get in the ring with? Who would step into the ring with, on the current roster, who would step into the ring with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania next year? I couldn't even say myself, to be honest with you, who would be the perfect opponent for Kurt Angle next year. But just to see Kurt Angle appear on WWE television again would be a great thing. So Yeah, I would love to see that. We're going to keep an eye on this story because after what Kurt has said in the last few days, all I can say is that Kurt's open to this, and I would love to see it. And also, can I just add as well that Kurt Angle actually replied to me on Facebook a few weeks ago with something like that as well. I had a conversation with Kurt myself on Facebook regarding Olympic wrestling, and I asked Kurt himself, on his Facebook Q&A at the time, I asked him, do you think if he was at the age he was when he won the Olympic medal in today's world with the Olympic stars from today, would he even last? And he says probably to some degree, but it would be a lot tougher than what it was back in 1996. But yeah, it was a great talking to Kurt on Facebook there. It was just before Christmas I spoke to him, but it's great to see. But yeah, again, guys, regarding Kurt Angle, we'll keep an eye on that story. It's a big, big story as well coming out regarding Kurt Angle's return to the WWE. Other news as well coming out of the independent scene this week. China, as we did talk about China a few weeks ago, give you a bit of an update on her. She was due to appear at an MCW event recent, I think it was past just before Christmas maybe, or even just after Christmas. She pulled herself out of the event at the last moment, a lot of disappointing fans, but they managed to get former WWE star Billy Gunn to appear at the event, and Billy Gunn became the MCW television champion. Now, regarding the situation of China, the stated that China apparently was sustaining a possible illness, and that's why she couldn't appear at the event. Now, we all know China's been on a campaign recently to try and get a meeting with WWE to try and bury the hatchet. But with not turning up at live events, is this a bad thing for China's appearance to try and get back in the good books of promoters across the US and obviously across the world as well? For what we've been reading into the story as well, China apparently was seriously ill and she couldn't make the event. But Billy Gunn did take her place and they put Billy Gunn on the card and he became the new MCW television champion. So big congratulations to former WWE star Billy Gunn on becoming the MCW, that's right, MCW television champion. So there you go. Also news as well, a lot of you guys out there probably remember Hernandez from back in the days of TNA. Well, apparently he's in a bit of a dispute at the moment with Lucha Underground and he is threatening them with a lawsuit. Now, this is the early stages. We've heard of this story today, but apparently there's a lot of cross wires, should we say, in that situation, and apparently Hernandez is now threatening Lucha Underground Wrestling with a lawsuit. Now, if we hear any more on that lawsuit, of course, once again, as always, guys, we'll bring the news ready here to you on Outside the Ropes. Now, big news coming out of the Hardy Boys. Now, I have been talking about the Hardy Boys as well. Speculations going wild around the internet that the Hardy Boys contract is due to expire this coming February. The Dudley Boys have sent out an open challenge to the Hardy Boys to face them at WrestleMania next year in Texas. Matt Hardy done a great interview this past Monday. When he was asked in that interview about coming back to WWE when his contract expires with TNA in February, Matt's response was as follows. He said that he is keeping his options open, him and Jeff. They have been asked before about this, and they have seen the speculation and the rumours flying around. They have read the challenge from the Dudley Boys regarding a return to the WWE. But they said at the moment, Matt said he's climbing the ladder of TNA at the moment, and he's trying to get to fly the flag of TNA and try and bring it back to once was. Some work that's going to be because TNA's fallen through the floor, in my opinion. But anyway, Matt Hardy was asked in about his contract expiring, where would he be going after his contract? Will he be re-signing with TNA again, or will he be heading back to the WWE? He says, well, that's the thing about Matt Hardy. It's so unpredictable. He likes to keep his fans on their toes. Now, a lot of fans have been going crazy over social media on forum boards and Twitter and everywhere else regarding Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy's return as the Hardy Boys back to WWE. They did send a wee tweet regarding the time when the Dudley Boys were feuding with the Wyatt family, saying that they're the original Team Extreme. But a lot of fans out there would love to see that match one more time. The Hardys and the Dudleys. Obviously, Edge and Christian won't be involved in that situation because obviously Edge is now retired and Christian, well, I don't know what Christian's doing. I think he is partially retired, to be honest. But a lot of people would pay good money to see that match once again, especially at a WrestleMania. Make it a TLC match. That would be absolutely epic. Or put the New Day in there and get the crap kicked out of them. But yeah, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy have said they're keeping their options open whenever their contracts expire with the WWE this coming February. So yeah, keep a wee eye for that there news because it's going to be interesting to see over the next few weeks and months leading ahead. Maybe they'll get out of their contract and appear at the Royal Rumble. Surprise entries? You never know. But regarding the Royal Rumble, guys, it's only a few weeks away. We're so close to the Royal Rumble. This is the time of the year I love the Royal Rumble, then WrestleMania. Obviously with the pay-per-view in between. But yes, we want to hear your Royal Rumble predictions. We're going to put a wee poll up on our Twitter, probably tonight after we put up this podcast. And we're going to keep it pinned for a few days on the top of our Twitter. Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? We'll give you 5 options and see who you can vote for and see if any out there. Or even if we can, we'll put it up on our Facebook as well and let you comment. That's actually better. We'll do that. We'll put it on our Facebook and we'll ask you, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Stick your answer down below the comment in the post and we'll get the best of them read out on next week's episode. I've got who am I going to go for in the Royal Rumble this year? I was asked this today, why was it before I come on the air today? Who do I think is going to win the Royal Rumble this year? To be honest with you, it's hard to say. But regarding the Royal Rumble, as promised, and news regarding Triple H in the Royal Rumble. I was actually reading a really interesting article today. I think it was Wrestling Observer wrote that. Now, don't quote me on that. It might not be them, but I think it was something like that, saying that apparently the storyline with Roman Reigns and Triple H is going to evolve, where Triple H is actually going to win the Royal Rumble and face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. That would be an interesting. But Triple H apparently is penciled in to win the Royal Rumble this year. Why? He's no need to win it. But there you go. But who am I going to pick to win the Royal Rumble this year? It's hard to... This is actually one of these Rumbles where, guys, I actually don't know. I really don't know. But I've heard that apparently there are a few names flying around for this year's Rumble to appear, and one of them being Daniel Bryan. So, you never know. Anyway, get onto our Facebook page, Outside the Ropes Wrestling Talk Show. Hit the like button. Get on there and give us your opinion. Who is going to win the Royal Rumble this year? Let us know, and we'll read out the best ones on next week's episode of Outside the Ropes. Guys, it's a short and sweet episode this week because it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to head on here because I got a New Year's party to hit very, very shortly. But all I can say to you is, we hope you had a great Christmas. A big, big Happy New Year to everybody out there right now. If you're watching SmackDown tonight, enjoy it. I know we're only on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday this week, but we're back next Wednesday. So we are, as normal slot. But Happy New Year to you all. I hope you have a great night tonight. If you're listening to the podcast after this, well then I hope you haven't got too much of a hangover, or you had a great New Year's party wherever it is you're listening to us. I know as we speak right now it's New Year in Australia, so Happy New Year to people in Australia, because we have got listeners in Australia who tweet us quite regular. I've no time to read out any emails this week, guys. I do apologise, but you can keep them coming. outsidetheropes@yahoo.com, on Twitter @outsidetherope, and of course our Facebook, you know what that is. I want to give a shout out to as well to a guy I actually ran into today before I come on the podcast, Winky and Vicky, who listens to the show every single week. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in every single week, and thanks for your support. We do appreciate it. And thanks for your comments on Facebook and Twitter, etc. So big thank you to Winky and Vicky. I ran into them today, face to face. So thanks very much for your support, guys. Do appreciate it. So I'm going to hit the road, hit here the New Year's Eve party. Guys, enjoy your New Year, whatever it is you're up to. We'll be back next Wednesday. Same time, same place. You know where we are for another episode of Outside the Rope. So for myself and everybody at the team, Happy New Year. And we'll see you all. We'll hear this here next year. We'll see you all next year. Get it? I'm not being funny at all. I'm only kidding. For myself, Matthew, have a great New Year, guys. And we'll see you all next week.